How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I have something quite useful for you guys that are on high-end PVM. Now this will be useful for people who aren't quite there yet as well, because eventually you will be, and some of these tips may even just help you get there. But for people who are getting into high-end PVM, not necessarily people who are already there kicking ass and getting all the drops whenever you fancy, thinking these bosses are just cake, you guys are the ones that actually helped the other people out. You guys are the ones that gave the comments on this video. So what we're doing is another one of the community questions videos. I've put a post on my YouTube section and I asked you guys, what are some tips you would give to players getting into high-end PVM? These can be absolutely anything, big tips, small tips, or even PG tips. Elite PVM players, I know you're out there, so teach us. Now, you guys actually came through. You gave a lot of tips. There's so many things in here. There's 39 comments, and I don't reply to the comments here, so all of these comments in this are from you guys. There's 39 different comments, so there's a hell of a lot. So we need to go through these. We're going to go through them today in this video, read them out, talk about a little bit of extra stuff on it. I'm sure that I'm probably going to learn some stuff from this as well, as I am definitely not super high-end PVM. There's stuff that I have plenty to learn from too. So this is quite an exciting video for me to make. If you enjoyed the video, if it helps you out, if you learn anything from it, then do leave a like on it. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new. There's a Twitch link in the description if you want to follow me live on Twitch as well. But otherwise, guys, let's see what you guys said. Let's see what tips we've got for you guys getting into high-end PVM, or maybe you've been doing it for a little while and maybe there's something you can learn from this as well. Okay, so keep in mind that when I said high-end PVM, I meant people who are just starting to do like Elite Dungeons, Raksha, Telos, all that sort of stuff. They've got plenty to learn though, plenty to practice, but they have reached the point where they can do high-end PVM. Alright, our first comment is from Damien. You said, don't get discouraged about dying. It happens to everybody. If you ain't dying, you ain't trying. That's brilliant. The money you lose learning a boss will come back easily when you get it down. Coming from someone who just got into Elite Dungeons a couple of months ago. Okay, so this is absolutely true, and I can confirm that I die a hell of a lot at bosses, but it always pays back. Like, as long as you're not dying and that's all you're doing and not improving whatsoever, then it is going to work. Also, use practice mode, guys, because if you die at practice mode, it doesn't cost you any death costs, of course, but it does still cost you your supplies, which is something I want to make a video about at some point, talking about what we could do with that, but that's fine. But basically, like he said, if you're going to be trying and you're going to be learning a boss, you are going to die at the boss. It just happens. Even once you get to a high end point, you're going to screw up sometimes and you're going to die. Like, that's just the way it is. No one's perfect 24/7, except for maybe a couple of those people that I'm sure you guys know who I mean. But most people are going to be in a position where even when they've got used to the boss, even when they've got hundreds and hundreds of kills, you're still going to die here and there, and it's absolutely fine, because eventually you're going to get a big drop and it will cover any costs that you did have. But I absolutely love this. If you ain't dying, you ain't trying. That is literally sums this whole thing up super quick. Keep that in mind. If you ain't dying at a boss, guys, you ain't trying to learn that boss. Unless you're just some sort of pro, of course. Next up, we have a comment from Wazzy, which I'm sure you are in every single one of these videos. You say, don't copy what speed killers are doing. Learn at your own pace, and as long as you get kills, you will start to improve. This is absolutely true, and something that I say all the time. So, efficiency and being up to scratch with speed and stuff is something that people worry about way too much in this game, especially learners and beginners. They'll be like, right, I've just got my first Raksha kill, it took me 9 minutes, I hate this boss, what's the point, I'm so bad at the game. No, you're not. Honestly, even the people probably who got like the first kill at Raksha, when they were learning Raksha when it first came out, they probably got 9-minute kills as well. Everyone's figuring out the boss, everyone is trying to figure out what the best thing to do is, and of course, everyone was new at some point. I remember when I started doing Raks, it literally used to take me about 12 minutes to get through that. It used to take me so long. I was using Vampora, of course, I was using a Yak, of course, doing no damage, panicking about all the abilities. Thing is, when it's a new boss, it's a new environment, there's new special attacks to pay attention to, there's new places to stand and like position yourself. You're trying to remember what's been said on the guide that you've been doing. Your DPS slows down a lot because you're distracted by so much stuff. And like he said, don't worry about their speed, learn at your own pace, and once you start getting the kills, as long as you're getting through and getting the kills, one, you've got the chance of getting the amazing drop that you're there for anyway, and two, you're going to be able to go back in and you will speed it up. You'll learn little bits here and there, and as you're getting through, you'll know what's coming next, you'll be able to know how to deal with it quicker, and eventually you're going to fly through that boss, you're going to get through, and you'll get loads of personal records. And you know what feels great? When you hit a first kill at 12 minutes, and then you keep going back and you get an 11-minute personal record, a 10-minute personal record, 9, all the way down until you get your Araxi personal record down to something like 4 minutes, 3 minutes. It's absolutely great. You see that yellow number every single time, and you know that you're improving. You can see the progress, and it's absolutely worth it. So don't rush, don't panic if you have long kill times. It's absolutely fine. You're a beginner, you're getting into this, you're getting into the high-end PVM, you're good to go. Alright, so our next and probably the most useful comment we've had here is reduce boss HP to 0 before your HP reaches 0. Easy game. I just wanted to include this because you just gotta lighten the mood sometimes. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much. This is super helpful. Next up, we have a comment from Carolyn. How you doing, dude? As I'm still learning Telos, the best advice I can give that I found useful the hard way is to not overcommit. Doing more than an hour or two of learning a day can become super stressful. There's a fine line between being dedicated and burning out, which is going to impact the learning progression. Take it slow, it is not a race. Also, some days you'll feel like you can't deal with mechanics or DPS as you would usually, and this is normal, for me anyway. If I die 3 times at a boss consecutively, I call it a day and come back tomorrow. I love this comment. Like, I actually love this comment. It literally bounces off me learning bosses in every single way. Okay, so like he said, he's still learning Telos. 1, I'm currently in the position of trying to learn higher enraged Telos with the new rotation, the right rotation, the proper way, okay? And honestly, it is stressing me out so much. So I am absolutely terrible at this. I know everything inside out, like I know what to do, I know where to stand, I know when to do this, I know when to do that. But if I screw up one mechanic, it seems like that's it, it's dead, it's over, it's done. There's literally nothing worth doing. You might as well just freaking call it a day and you're dead. That can become stupidly stressful. There's been times that I've done like 4 or 5 kills in a row and I've literally screwed up on the stupidest things, and it literally changes from being dedicated to learning it to being burnt out. Like, you just make more mistakes because you're constantly stressing, you're getting fed up, you're not paying as much attention, you're unfocused because you're so stressed. If you're doing something and you can feel it, it's tilting you a bit, just take a break, slow down, like he said, just back off, maybe do something else that you know you can do so you get back into the rhythm of stuff and then come back to it, or just come back a different day, because honestly it will change from being something that you're focused on and trying to do your best at to something that is just pissing you off and it's just not worth doing. And this is something I've had to do there. I'll leave my aura if it's got like 20-30 minutes left, I don't care. If I'm stressed out to the point where there's no point, then you might as well just leave and do something more productive. As well, the bit where he says some days you'll feel like you can't deal with mechanics or DPS as you usually would. This is normal. Honestly, it's not just normal for you, this is normal for me as well. There's some days where I just literally think my hands just don't seem to be working. I can't focus, it's just not working right, and everything I do is just one big freaking mistake. And that is so stressful. You guys watching the stream will know what I mean because I explain this quite a lot. I'm always like, guys, I don't know what's going on today. I just can't do stuff. Like, I just literally can't do stuff. Like, I'm worse than usual. I'm not just bad, I'm worse than usual. This happens, honestly, if it does happen, either take a break, play something else maybe, go in AFK something, watch some Netflix, I don't know. Just keep in mind that it's not just you. You will have come back probably the next day. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're distracted, maybe you just need something to eat. But either way, just keep in mind, this does happen to other people too. Our next comment comes from 92VXEG. Okay, Zerk auras are overrated for a lot of bosses. Inspiration aura is underrated for range with Darkbow EOF. Okay, so most people probably just say, I'm going to this boss, I'm using range, chuck on Reckless, going to this boss using magic, chuck on Maniacal, and the same for melee with the Berserk aura. Now these are great auras, they are really, really good. But like he said, there is definitely some auras in the game that will be more useful or just as useful in certain situations. I actually rarely use Reckless at Raksha anymore because it just doesn't make that much difference from using Dark Magic. And honestly, it may be like 5 to 10 seconds difference, but that means I can then use Reckless somewhere else without having to use a reset. Now, you do get plenty of resets in all honesty, but if you're learning a new boss and you want to use Reckless or Maniacal there, for example, then you're going to be using those resets quite a bit. I use a reset for Telos so much. If I'm trying to learn Telos and I'm going to do like 2 or 3 hours and it's all going well and I'm getting progress, I can see that I can do it, and I'll reset my Maniacal over and over again until I get to the end of that, because it's worth me doing that, and I think those points are worth spending there. But like you said, there's certain bosses in the game where some other auras are absolutely fine to use there. You don't always have to camp those Berserk auras. The next comment comes from Bjor, I assume, something like that. Recording your own attempts and watching them can help you interpret mechanics and what to do way better than watching someone else's. There's also a place in the PVM Discord where you can upload your clips and get feedback on them. That's more beneficial to you, really. So, okay, so the first part of this is absolutely true. The recording your own clips and watching them back, I actually do this quite a bit. As you guys know, I make YouTube videos, so I actually record almost everything I do in game. So when I've been learning Telos, I'm using this so much, but that's all I'm learning at the moment. Like, that's the specific thing. I'm watching my clips back. When I screw up, I'll go and I'll watch them and I'll be like, right, what mistake did I make? And the reason I do that is because I don't really know. There's a lot going on and I'll die and I'm like, right, what exactly happened there? Because I may think to myself already, like, right, if this happened, I misclicked this and I died because of something that was just absolutely stupid. Bad game, bad tick system, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. But actually, once I watch it back, I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I run into that place and do this? Why have I stood there? I know not to stand there. Why have I done that? And I can actually look at it and know that I've made that mistake, but it lets me know that I've done this and I can work on it. However, even if it's not just like that, there's certain situations that I've done stuff and I've gone, right, I could have done this better. At this time, I should have used this ability. I should have stood here instead, and then I've improved that and I can get through it a little bit better. It's definitely worth doing that. However, the next bit about there's also a place in the PVM Discord where you can upload your clips and get feedback on them. That is super helpful, and I did not know this. I assume he means the PVME Discord, but I'm not 100%. I will comment on this and see if I can get him to answer, and then you guys can always find out. But if someone watching the video, if you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people who know this, can you let me know in the comments, or let the people know in the comments, is it the PVME Discord that you can do this in? Because that is really cool, and I like that idea. That's brilliant. Nuclear says, keybinds are personal and what feels comfortable to you. Don't feel the need to copy other players' keybinds to get better. This is true. This is very, very true. There's a few things that I would suggest you do for keybinds that probably most people do anyway. But other than that, all your specific keybinds, like what defensives, what like equipping different gear and switches, is all down to you. Everybody like is more comfortable with different things, and copying someone else's may just not work for you. So when I first set up full manual, I tried to copy the RS guy's stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, I tried to copy what his keybinds were. I watched his keybind video, but by the end of it, a lot of it didn't work, and honestly now there's so much stuff that's just not similar whatsoever. So I started off by copying his thing, and I really couldn't make it work. It just didn't make sense to me. A lot of the stuff was weird, and the reason that is because when you set your keybinds, you actually have the thought process of where would that work best? Where is that more comfortable for me? And where am I going to remember what that is? Now, if you just copy someone else's and go, right, they put that there, I'm going to do the exact same. They've put food on J for some reason, and like that sort of thing, you're just going to put them there and you're not going to understand why. You're not going to know that that's what that was. You just copied it, you pasted it. And honestly, by the time you've done that big, long job of doing that, you're going to forget what half of those keybinds were, and you're going to have to learn them on the fly, or you're going to have to spend a lot of time trying to write those to memory. Now, when you have that thought process of where am I going to put reflect, mine is on Alt R, because in my head, Alt is my defensive button and R is for reflect. I have my food on F, and I have my Tiredom and Bruise on Shift F. My super restores are set to R, and my barricade, which is another defense ability, is Alt for defense and B for barricade. So I've set all this sort of stuff up like that, and I'm not telling you guys to do the exact same, but in my head when I set that, I could remember what they were because I've had the thought process of thinking, right, this is going here because of this reason, and that's how I want it, that's how I'm going to remember it. And other things that are used a lot may not be bound to match up with like letters for whatever it is, because there's too many of the names to match a single letter. But they're in positions, they're in keys that are stupidly easy for me to reach. They're the most comfortable ones for me to use. Resonance is Alt and E, that's a super easy keybind for me to use. And things like that I've managed to get in my head a lot easier because I went and rebound them to my own keys through my own thoughts. Because when I used the exact copy of the RS guys, yes, they were probably great keybinds for him, but for me personally, I couldn't remember where half of the stuff was. So don't copy people's keybinds exactly. You can get ideas and like layouts for it, absolutely, but otherwise I would just suggest going through and manually keybinding them all yourself. The other thing though that I said I would recommend most people do is probably when you're using your combat styles, magic, range and melee, try and line up abilities that match each other. So for example, on magic and range is the easiest thing to talk about. Wild magic and snapshot are almost the same ability. They do the exact same thing, used in the exact same way. You can set up your action bars to swap as you change weapons. I would have both these abilities in the same position because that way when you are learning to use range or learning to use magic, all your abilities that do the same thing are in the same place. So rapid fire will be lined up with asphyxiate, wild magic will be lined up with wild magic, your deep impact will be lined up with tight bindings. It's the same sort of thing, and that makes like learning that a lot easier. Learning one rotation rather than 3, it just makes a lot more sense. But again, if this doesn't work for you, don't do it. Don't take my advice on that. If you feel like it's a lot easier a different way, if having them completely different is just easier for you, then go ahead and do it. Our next comment comes from Fang, who actually gives me tips like all day, every day, so thank you very much. He says, my biggest tip will be adding things one thing at a time and focusing on it until it becomes natural to you. So basically, don't overwhelm yourself with way too much at once. Say you've just got into high-end PVM and somehow you're in a position where you can actually unlock almost all of the gear that you've got. Say you're like this amazing skiller who's got about 10 bill and they want to invest in PVM, right? Don't go out and get yourself a flanking switch, a greater ricochet roaming switch, a planted feet switch. Try and learn soul split flicking, and at the same time while you're trying to 4-tick on magic. Like, there's so much stuff that you can be doing all at once, but don't try and learn everything in one go. That would be stupidly overwhelming and it would stress you out to no point whatsoever. This doesn't only apply to stuff like that though. Like he said, just learn things one thing at a time, and then once you're used to that and it's just something that you can probably come back to at any point, go ahead and learn something else. This would be the exact same thing as well for bosses. If you're learning all the bosses all at the same time and you're not really progressing in either of them and you're just sort of throwing yourself and becoming a dead body to them, then maybe focus on one boss until you get used to that, and then once you're in a point where you can find that boss fairly easy, move on to the next one. If you were trying to learn Raksha, trying to learn Ambassador, trying to learn Telos, literally like 1 hour after the other, you're gonna struggle. Unless you pick things up stupidly quick and don't forget them, you're gonna confuse yourself. You're gonna get in a position where it's too much, it's overwhelming. You definitely need to just focus on one thing at a time, slow it down, chill out a little bit, and just get it done. You'll be fine. Just keep learning. It does take time, but don't overwhelm yourself. And if you're getting into PVM, you don't need to have like 50 switches in your inventory that has 28 spaces, because you're gonna need the food. Get through the kill, get used to the mechanics of the boss, and then when you get to the point in that boss where you don't need all that extra food, start taking them out one at a time. Add your roaming switch for greater ricochet, add another slot for your planted feet, and then all that sort of stuff will eventually become second nature. You won't need any food, you'll get through it, you'll fly through it, and all these switches will make the kills faster and easier, but only once you're used to the boss. Okay, so our final comment is going to come from Bimby. You just say one word and it's patience. Okay, yep, nice and easy. This is similar to some of the other stuff we've said, but be patient, guys. All you new players out there who are learning new bosses, getting into PVM, it's a stressful situation. There's a lot to learn, but practice makes perfect, so be patient. You will get there. As long as you can see some progression, any progression whatsoever, pay attention to that. If you die over and over again, ignore that crap. You're going to get through it. As long as you're getting some progress whatsoever, then just be patient. The kills will come, and when they do come, it'll be absolutely worth it. Ask people for tips, ask people to help you out, ask people to go for a duo, get some feedback on what you're doing, use guides, be patient. You will get there, you'll get the kills, and your patience will pay off. Alright guys, so that is going to be the end of this video. I hope there was some good stuff in here for you guys that are getting into high-end PVM. Even, to be honest, a lot of this stuff is really useful for lower-end PVM players as well. They're aiming to get into high-end PVM because it's stuff that you can actually work on fairly early on, and it will probably help you out in your situations too. Anyone who is on like super high-end PVM and people who have shared the comments, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I've learned quite a bit scrolling through this as well. But not only that, it doesn't have to end here. You guys that are like top-end PVM, like so good, get in the comments, share some more stuff if there's anything that you feel was missed and could be helpful. Get down there, do share it. People do scroll through there afterwards and have a good read to see what tips there is. Trust me, there was a poll on this and 59% of the people who actually voted were just scrolling through the comments just to learn. So get down in the comments of this video, share some more tips. People will definitely have a look. But anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like on it. If it helped you out, leave a like on it. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new and enjoyed too. And also if you are getting into PVM and you want people to PVM with, join the Inits as a clan guest. Ask for an invite or stay as a guest, and there's plenty of like PVM learning going on there too. People who are helping out new players, and we also do some clan masters for the bigger bosses like AOD. So just so you can get in, get your boss portal, get used to it, throw yourself in the deep end a little bit and just sort of see what the mechanics are like. But anyway, thank you all so much to my channel members for your extra support. I always appreciate it. You guys are absolutely awesome. But that is going to be it from me today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later guys. Bye.